Okay, so it's going to be to the right. All right, I'm going to speak on a lighter note than Nancy. We decided to do it this way just to begin with when we talk. So I'm just going to throw out a lot of fun facts about bald eagles and just, things in general. And it's going to be a very interactive thing. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. You guys are going to give me a lot of answers, and I'm going to tell you nothing. That's the best part. Or do you want, I've got clicker. It would be better? Oh, I see what you're saying, to make it all one. Okay. Yeah, I see, instead of. Cool. Thank you, Nancy. All right, so basically we're going to do some fun facts and Q&A. That's where you come in, the answers. All right, we're going to start out with questions. Where are bald eagles located? What continent? Say it. North America. All right, the 3 top ranked states with the largest bald eagle nesting populations. No Maggie. Okay. And somebody else said Minnesota. Okay. Sometimes Minnesota, Florida, we swap back and forth, but pretty much we'll take second to Alaska for sure. What state doesn't have bald eagles? Hawaii. Hawaii. Very good. Very good. And where do bald eagles generally nest near? Water. That was an easy one. So what type of structures can you find eagles nest in Florida? Trees? Dead trees? Towers? Platforms? You're cheating. You didn't let me talk. Platforms? Stadium lights now. They're even getting to be like ospreys nesting on stadium lights, or even little baskets, little metal baskets behind stadium lights. What counties in Florida have the most documented eagle nests? Top county. Anybody want to take a guess? Second. So that would have been my next question. Second. 2. Osceola. Osceola is very undeveloped, so they do have a lot of tree nests, not very many artificial nests like we have here in Pinellas. And they'll have eagles. We can go down Canoe Creek Road, and they're just like, boom, there's an eagle nest there, there's one there. So that even in that wide open area, they get along well enough to even nest very close together, which is what we see in our cities here, like on Hillsborough Avenue and things like that, US 19. Polk. Yeah, somebody way over there said it. Yep, Polk County. How big are bald eagle territories? Usually in the cities, 1 mile. Some can go up to 5 miles if you're way out in the country, but we see even out in the country, they're getting along a lot more and they don't even need that much territory. Do Florida bald eagles migrate? Depends on who you talk to, but they do go somewhere because they disappear for the summer, don't they? I would say about 80% of our bald eagles here in Florida do migrate. There's about 20% that don't. They generally don't always hang out their nest because they're tied down all season with babies. So they're like, I'm hanging at the river, I'm going to the bay, I'm doing something cool. So we do see them, but not nearly, as much as we do in the nesting season. But again, M15 and I don't know, what's her number now, 23 or something? F23. I can't keep up with all that. I'm like Nancy, I'm not a big cam person either. But they are around their territory, but generally you don't see them at the nest till it's time to get serious about things. All right, so we have cell towers, and then we have power line towers, which we just call artificial structures. So, and there's the stadium lights. They built it right in the little, thing behind there, the little casing behind there. Osprey platforms. Look at that. We made that into a nest. What's that? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. More Oh, and then here is Trout Creek, which is in Hillsborough County, where Duke Energy put up a dish for them on the power line because they kept falling out of the nest. The babies kept falling out of the nest. So they actually put it up there to try to keep the babies in. It works sometimes. Sometimes they do fall out. We have rescued one since they put, yeah.
The interesting thing about that eaglet when we rescued it that I thought was interesting is, you remember how it laid on the ground underneath the palmetto?
Yeah, it went flat.
It just completely, it laid on the ground and put its wings out like that and its head down like that underneath the palmetto leaf. If you wouldn't have known it, you could have stepped on it, but that's how it tried to hide from us.
Yep, they know that if they go under and they go flat and they don't make a sound, that people, you know, we always tell people in going in the woods and you're going to rescue, take a pole, take a stick, tap. Don't bang, you don't want to hurt anybody, but, you know, just kind of tap, because then you'll see movement and you'll know something's under there, because you don't want to crawl under a palmetto. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to crawl under, exactly why you don't want to crawl under a palmetto. You got it. All right, now we're going to jump into this. I love this. I love this. I love immature bald eagles and their color patterns. So, anybody know the rule of threes? This one's a trick one. Maggie, no. Nancy, no. Nobody else? So, so an eaglet will grow from 3 inches to 3 feet in 3 months. It's amazing. From this to bigger than their parents in 3 months. It's just absolutely incredible. Explain the color patterns on eagles as they grow up and mature through the years. So you see 6 months, really dark beak. Then you get in a year later, the eyes start to turn, a little bit of the beak starts to turn, and they're getting more white pattern. It's more of the down that's around their necks and actually into their chest. 2.5 years, you start to get the white head. More of the beak becomes lighter colored. 3.5 years, you're starting to get more of the white head and less of the brown. 3.5, 4.5, just a little bit of streakage. A lot of times you'll see more on the tail, brown on the tail for 4.5, and then you're 5-year-old and up. And everybody always asks, well, how old is it? I said, well, it's 5 or up, because that's all we know if it's coming out of the wild. So, how old are bald eagles when they complete their white head and tail? 5. That's easy enough. I did this for summer camp. I did summer camp at Audubon and at Nature's Classroom, and I gave all the kids this little, we did a laminated, Maggie helped me, did a laminated thing, and then we went out to see Sunny, who's the bald eagle out there, and they had to figure out how old she was. They were spot on. She is 2.5. Yeah, they were great. Oh my gosh. You give them those, and I didn't even let them take it out there either. They had to memorize it and go out. They loved it. Not anymore. She is like solid brown now, and her beak is very orange. She's changed a lot. Yeah. Well, and she just went through a huge molt though too. I mean, her feathers, yeah, that's incredible. She looks great. She's doing really well. Let's see. What is a juvenile? What is an immature? Subadult and then adult. Anybody want to take a guess? Juvenile. What's that? So up to a year, we call juvenile. Immature can be just about anything from 2 to 4. I like to use that for 2 and 3 because they're not really juveniles, but subadults, you know, when they're 2, I don't like to call them that quite yet. Subadults, I would say that 3.5 to 4.5, and then definitely your adult.
Subadults are the troublemakers.
Yes, they are. I don't know, the juvies that fall out of the nest can be a whole lot of problems too, so. Let's see, what is the nesting season in Florida? That's easy, all our Eaglewatch volunteers here. Yep, October 1st through May 15th, but those of us who know that it can go on for another 2 months if you have late nesters. What are the 5 main stages you observe during nesting season? Stage 1. The eagles come back, they bring sticks, they either rebuild or add on to their nests. Stage 2. Eaglewatch volunteers, not Maggie. Lay eggs, yep, lay eggs, incubating. Stage 3. Hatching. Okay, and then obviously they're growing up. And what's the scariest part of the season, Nancy? You got it. Or fludging, as the case may be. Sometimes they fludge. All right. What happens if a rogue eagle goes through a territory and gets too close to an active nest? Nancy's already told you the answer to that. They'll take you down. And how many eggs can an eagle lay? Up to 4, yeah. They can actually up to 4. 3 is normal. And they can hatch anywhere 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if they lay 4, they may only hatch 1 or 2. So, all right. How to help bald eagles thrive? What can we do to help? Yep. Leave them alone. Leave them alone, but keep an eye on them. So if they do fall out, we can help them. All the things that Nancy went through, the rodenticide, everything about their habitat. Basically, Nancy's whole program touched on that. How can we make a difference in bald eagles' lives? By monitoring nests, by rescuing, by what we're doing today, teaching. Teaching is very important. If people don't know, they don't know what to do. So the more we can get the word out, the more we can save bald eagles and our planet. All right, how and where can we learn more about bald eagles? Well, the first Saturday in October every year, you can come here. But you can visit the Audubon Center for Birds of Prey, Eaglewatch, Raptor Center, Tampa Bay Raptor Rescue, Moccasin Lake, Avian Reconditioning Center, Boyd Hill, what's that? McGow was the one I was reaching for. Any of those places, everybody will teach you something new, something different, and you get to see different birds, the way the birds are handled and cared for. We all care for them, like basically in the same way, but I know Barb has like more younger birds. Our center, we have a lot of old birds. Our vultures, well, Elvis is old too. Elvis is old. Our vultures are like in their 40s. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's really good to go and just see. I mean, how many people have really seen a bald eagle up close, or a barn owl, or something crazy like that, a peregrine falcon? What? Really?
That's what I say to the kids. The bald eagle appears on every piece of currency of the United States.
True. Yep. All right. Most importantly, how do we play a part in bald eagle conservation? Nancy went through a lot of that, so I'm not going to touch on that. She did a great job on that. So we're going to go into more fun things. How many feathers does a bald eagle have? You got it. 7,000. 7,000. 7,000. Yeah, I think it was our buddy James Audubon. Oh, wow. Is a bald eagle really bald? No. What does bald mean? Where do they get that term, bald eagle? Right. So what do eagles primarily eat in the wild? Fish? What else? Rats, mice, ducks, cats. We won't go into that. Yeah. Do eagles build their own nests? Yes. Well, that's a trick question, because then they go, do great horns build their own nest? No. For them. And then the great horns come out and boot them out before they can even lay eggs. Exactly. Could you recognize an eagle call in the wild? Sounds just like a red tail, right? Like you see on TV. All right. It's quiz time. No, I told you I wasn't teaching you anything. Did I say that in the beginning? It was a disclaimer. I am not teaching you anything. All right, first one on the left. What nesting stage is that? I'm tricking you up. It's not that one. Yeah. No. I don't know if I can't make it bigger. Brooding. So the top of the head shows when it's incubating. Once the eggs hatch, the head goes up. See how much lower that one is? You just see the eyeball and the, I know it's hard to see. She's struggling with, yeah. And that, in the other picture, you can see like the head of the bird. So when they're down low, they're incubating because they need to keep those eggs warm continually. Once 1 or 2 or 3 of the eaglets hatch, they come up higher and they're just, thermoregulating for the bird because the first 10 days they cannot thermoregulate themselves. So you'll see them up higher and a lot of times squidgety, and they're looking down there like, get back in there and that kind of thing. On the left, it was a bit pixelated there, but I actually got a picture of like 10-day-old eaglets in a tower. It never happens. So that's obviously hatching. And our feared stage, fledging. That one did well though. And on the left, building. That's the happy couple at Fort Myers. Building on the right, you can see the difference, tower versus tree. That was like half an hour before the sun came up on the right. I'm like, what are you guys doing? We're like, building. All right. On the left, what year? Yep. Very good, very good. I love that stage. I just love that stage, the coloring. Right. No, and it is weird because it does. It changes to all white, and then like the next year, it's all brown. That happened to Sunny. She's all brown in the front now. Yeah, I love it. They're just so gorgeous. On the right, yep, just fledged. Yeah, God, those kids were amazing. Well, that's good. All right. That's about a year and a half on the left. Just coming out, but doesn't have the white quite yet on the head. The eyes haven't turned yet. So in between the 6 months and the 2.5. Yep. And then, yay, the classic picture we all get, right? Except if you're in Pinellas County where most of them nest on towers, but it is what it is. All right, photo credits for everybody. Look at those two. And then this is a cool story, actually. This was a bird that Roger Dool and I rescued, the one up on the left. And Nancy had an FWC officer release. I went back 2 days later, and I found the whole family together. This one actually made it back to the nest after being released. One of the very few that you ever get to see back at the nest. Yeah, it's very, very, yeah. And the reason why they were all there is because a subadult came through and they all went to the nest tree. I was like, okay. Yep. Any questions? Yes. Do we know how many eagles are banded in Pinellas County besides, we know the one. Are you talking about the auxiliary bands? So in Pinellas County, that's the only one I know of that they've seen nesting. Dunedin. Do you have one in Dunedin? But is it banded with the auxiliary? She's talking about. I think so. It's got a color band. Does it have a color band? And several of their children were banded throughout the years. Is this Walker Ford? Is this Walker Ford that you're talking about? No, Dunedin. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there was an auxiliary band. Me too. I thought it was just silver band. Yeah, I think she's talking about the auxiliary band. So we started a program in 2017 at the Audubon Center for Birds of Prey. It's connected with Eaglewatch, where any of the eaglets that fall out of a nest, that we know where they're from. It's not like, well, I crash landed over here and I'm in between two nests. As long as we can figure out what nest they came from. When they're released, they get the regular U.S. Fish and Wildlife band. If it's a male, the Fish and Wildlife band goes on the left. If it's female, it goes on the right. For the auxiliary band, we have two colors, green and black. Green is for natural nests. Black is for artificial structures. And then, so we banned the opposite leg of, because we DNA sex them all, the opposite leg of where, the DNA sexing would go for the silver band. And then all the tree nests would get green, the artificial nests would get black. And in 2017, so we are in the 2025 nesting season now. We do have the one at John Chestnut. We have not seen them actually have kids yet. This is a bird from 2017. Yeah. But do you know originally where it was from? So it passed, is what you were saying. Okay. All right. Did anybody ever see an eaglet, or you saw feeding behavior? Okay. All right. 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 Okay. So, but we are starting to see these auxiliary bands nest. The whole purpose of the program is to see, well, not the whole purpose, but the main purpose of the program is to see whether tree nests, birds that come from tree nests will nest in tree nests, and birds from tower nests will nest in tower nests. And I think in your case, they were from a tree nest. Yep, and then there's a nest I watch in Winter Park that actually came from a tower nest in Polk County that's nesting in Orange County on a tower. And she did have 2 successful eaglets last year. So, so we ban them like when they fall out of the nest. No, when they fall out of the nest, as long as we know what nest they're from. We, at the Audubon Center for Birds of Prey, we rehab, they flight condition in the flight barn, and then we release them. Correct. We do not do that. No, we don't go up in the nest or anything like that.
It's a research project. A lot of rehab centers use these colored bands to determine, like, this was such a great opportunity because Audubon gets so many eagles to say, hey, let's band them and see where they go when they get to be 5 years old. Are they going to a tree or are they going to a tower? Yeah, and certainly we're just now at a point where we can start to see that.
Right, because it took 5 years to get to that point. Exactly.
The nice thing too is the auxiliary bands we use have big letters and numbers on them. Those silver bands,
and they're white on a dark background, right?
Stand out, and photographers can get the shots.
Give me, so just 1 second.
We start to see, we're like, oh, look, the eagle's here. Oh, look, he's there.
Right. So it'll have a letter and then 2 digits, and it's done so that when the leg goes down, you can read it. It's imprinted in white on the dark, so photographers see them all over the country, actually. But all
wildlife bands are all eagles released.
Even adults.
Are all under the U.S. Fish and Wildlife bands. That helps the U.S. Fish and Wildlife in recovery stage, right?
Right.
If these birds are young, and so these bands are big enough that we can, like they were saying, you can actually see them and read them.
There it is.
And snap a picture, and then you can contact Audubon, and one of these folks can tell you within minutes where that bird. Oh, you know what? That came from Daytona. It was banded on such and such a day.
It was released here. It was, yeah. So, but before we get to your question, what 2 other things can we actually, deduct from, this study? Or, well, no, more so about the kids themselves. So that, right. Which kids fall out more, towers or trees? Okay. That's what I would have thought too. Trees, because of hurricanes, the trees go over, the nests come out. Towers, if there's a platform, it's pretty much good as gold. Pretty much. Yeah. And then males versus females. How many more did we get in? Males versus females. What do you think? Not you. No, females are the bigger rocker, the raucous, and they're all crazy in the nest. Yeah. They're bigger and they're more bold and they go out of the nest faster, and I can do this and I can do that. Males can be a little bit more timid and that kind of thing. They're smaller. Yeah. I know. But it's a great program, and this was actually the bird in the tree at the end, K54, and I actually got a picture of her band too to show that it really was. She made it back to her nest.
So if I told you that it's been months and months and months ago, I was going across the sky
Mhm.
And I saw bald eagle sitting on the line.
Mhm.
So even just saying I saw that mature bald eagle in that area, you could probably deduce approximately which bird it was.
Well, it all depends on the time of year and where.
Yeah. Yeah.
These birds are out this time of
Yeah.
year. They're hunting in the bay, so you could, depending on where it was on the
But you're
skyway.
saying their territory is usually within.
So yeah, I would say what she's saying is like maybe the height of nesting season, pretty much, if you go by, we'll just say Pony Farm. So it's in the Pinellas County line, Oldsmar, Racetrack Road in Hillsboro. There's a monopole right by the racetrack gas station. There's a bird that sits up there. That's from that nest. If you go by there, theoretically at nesting season, that is going to be the bird from that nest. So to a point, yes. Now, maybe not, because everybody's going back to their nests. Summer, they're trying to settle down now.
Well, and also if an eagle has a tracker on it, okay, where they're actually collecting data on exactly where it goes all the time, you can see the patterns that they make. And this bird could do a little star over here.
Yeah.
In Tampa, and he's up in Jacksonville. He does a little star.
Yeah.
So.
It just depends on, again, the time of the year. I mean, if you're in January, they're not really roaming. They've got kids. Yeah, no, definitely.
As much as we handle bald eagles and we see bald eagles, as soon as those bald eagles are out there, so they're just so magnificent.
Yeah, no. But yeah, it's a great program. And actually, this year, Eaglewatch, Sean Lee's going to do 5 trackers on adults and juveniles, a combination. So I think it's like $2,000 per bird to put a tracker on. It's like the little mini, that they use for falconry, the little really, really small tracking devices. So we're going to partner with Gina Kent.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, with Gina Kent. Yep. No, and I promised her to. Hang on. Go ahead. Does this have to do with this? And then I'll get back to you. I won't forget you. Okay, no, you're good. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering what type of tracker is it? Is it an ankle? Is it
I think it's on the back. I think.
That's what they use for the swallowtail kites.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, the same. Yes. Actually, it's not even a harness. It's like.
It's actually a clip because they track the kites with.
Yes.
Does it fall off when they molt, or?
A lot of times with the kites, I know they don't. I don't think there's as much evidence. They've been tracking kites, swallowtail kites.
Right. This will be the first time we have done it with.
They seem to stay on for years.
Yes. And the smaller it is, the less invasive it is on the bird. The old.
Remember we were in the FTA 5 and we saw that peregrine falcon with the tracker.
Yes.
So we saw, we were like, look, and then we got in trouble because we were wondering what the group tracked.
Yeah, we've gotten in a lot of trouble like that. We did. We got a lot of trouble like that. I'll tell people that. No, go ahead. Yeah.
2018, Russia took a ship up to the International Space Station, and they carry with them an antenna that is meant to read all the trackers of animals on planet Earth, with the goal of within 10 years to be able to, by observing these natural migratory movements of animals, to be able to predict large natural disasters 2 weeks ahead of time. Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. Yeah. I don't want to forget about you. So on the male, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife will be on the left. So everybody focuses on the kids, the auxiliary band. Always Fish and Wildlife first if it's on the left, male. If it's on the right, female. As long as it was banded correctly.
One of my nests last year, I came across a re-banded, and I helped fish on land. It was a 2.5-year-old from Polk County.
Oh, cool. Do you remember the number?
Cool, just to see it. It was up on the Clark River Creek Reserve.
Oh, nice.
On the tower, just
close to the nest.
North of the nest.
Yeah, close to the nest. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's banded. And like you said, the numbers are big, the letters are big, so I was able to identify.
Yeah.
Because otherwise
Oh, U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Not only that, but it's metal. I mean, out in the sun, it reflects. Can't read. Yeah. No, they're metal. They're metal, but see the green? Yes. Yes, she was a female. And if I actually zoomed in, you can read it says K54. So, and when they're flying or jumping or anything, or that bird was just kind of hanging. You can see very content, ruffled, feathers are all, yeah.
Wildly out of range too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got that Montana osprey this year. Came from Montana, that bird, and we only knew that because that bird was banned.
We took a picture of that bird that was off of Lutz Lake Bird Road. I thought you were involved in that maybe. But we got the bird came down. We got a picture of the band. We couldn't get the bird. The bird was injured, and then we couldn't get the band. But when we looked at it, the bird had been banded 16 years ago in New York.
Yeah.
New Jersey, someplace like that. Do you remember that?
No, I do. I don't think I was involved in that, but I do remember that. And it's funny though, because some of the other states, they don't have necessarily an auxiliary banding program, but they band in colors as significant things. A lot of the ones out of New York are blue. Because when I go to the Conowingo Dam, they're all like, "Oh, that one's from New York. That one's from." I'm like, "How do you know?" Well, it's blue. I'm like, "Okay."
So research projects, they actually claim those colors of bands. I was actually present when Diana was talking to Erica Miller about the green.
Oh, okay.
Erica Miller bands, Erica Falcons with green bands.
Oh, okay. All right.
Same color green.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
it was one of those things that it's interesting listening to them talk about the colors, and they were
yeah.
like, we already took the green. And Erica's like, oh, I got green too.
No, it's good. And actually, they're really easy to read. Like I said, photographers, goes up and you can zoom in and yeah. Then we've had a lot of sightings all the way up into Canada on our juveniles because juveniles for sure migrate, for sure. Not maybe all the adults, but the only time we don't see maybe some of the fledglings is if they fledge at the end of July. What's the point in going up to come back in a month? A lot of times they won't, or even their parents, if they do migrate, they won't leave if they're that late. Yeah.
The other thing I would also say, if you see your eagles fighting, call us. Don't say, oh, look, they're fighting, they broke apart. Let us know that they've been in a fight.
Yeah, cartwheeling is not necessarily romantic.
No, it's not.
Cartwheeling is territory fight.
And especially if one of them. Well, yeah, usually we get the loser, but sometimes we get both of them.
Yeah, we've gotten both of them a bunch of times. We've had to pull them apart. Yeah.
We got River Donald and Joe.
Yeah, this is a great story.
That were fighting.
Yeah.
We got them. We took them to Audubon. They reconditioned them. They put them in the flight cage. Diana was a rehabber. And Diana calls me. She's like, "You gotta get these birds out of the cage. They are fighting in the cage." Now that might not sound like you're like, "Oh yeah, well they were fighters," but these birds are fighting for territory. They don't usually just
right.
say, "I hate your guts. I'm gonna kill you in a cage."
Right.
But that's how these birds were. So we took them. We released them 12 miles apart. I kid you not. 3 months later, we get a call 45 miles away. We got 2 birds in a fight. And the strangest thing, they have consecutive band numbers. As soon as they said that, my face got on the job. One of them was released at a pop cup.
Yeah. Another one back in.
Down here was
yeah.
up a lot further than that. But those eagles had such a dislike for each other that they found each other again months later after rehab. They were like 12 miles apart, and they were both 40 miles away from where we let them go.
Crazy.
So it just shows you that they're a lot like humans.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments, quizzes? See, I told you I wasn't going to teach you anything. See, you guys taught me everything.
Are you guys feeling good about the eaglets living? We had a lot of last year. We didn't have a big year.
Oh, you're talking about the emaciation? The survival rate. That could be emaciation, though, too. It could be the prey base being low. Yeah.
As a rehabber, sometimes we need a pep talk. I've already gotten 4 eagles in 5 days. Now I'm wrong. Yeah. All right, so I'm like, some days I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. So this 2024 was a very low prey base year. Beth Lott at Audubon has also talked to me about this.
Yep.
We had so many eagles, so many hawks, everything basically that came in as starving, even the baby bats coming in for starving. And so everything was emaciated. So we didn't renest hardly anything this year.
Mm.
And
We
my
didn't do a
concern
whole lot
is
either.
it